Roma Jujin Podoni to Sonji Kanjungu Ronsen Chugo Ngonso Tonze Bazavlam Shala Sorvande Dason Rovolona Chula Yer Susun Dungar Gender Chejin Chen Yason Me Ponchiva Jella So Senchen Tang near the Dzogchen Tambanam Jinin Tatar the Sauce. Oh, yeah. Good morning. Again, to remind to you, do not forget your kindness and never separate your kindness and compassion, warm-heartedness. And that is the very important for you, for me, for everybody. And it is not kind of the religious, you believe or not believe. Everybody love, true love. Everybody love to compassion. Everybody love to the kindness. Everybody love sympathetic, cheerful mind, all the time smiling. And these sort of persons bring happiness, everybody. And therefore, please do not forget your kindness. And also, if you haven't got, can you generate to a little bit to create in your mind about the kindness. That means it's like how about the universal sentient beings, not only concerning yourself, your family, your friend, your society, your country. Universal sentient beings. They are the same as you, same as we are. And if you concern benefit for them, that your attitude, your way of the thinking is really same as the Buddha and most mankind superior's mind to have. And today also, according your compassions, we study causalities. And there is one quotation from Buddha's message. He said that your compassion practicing transcendent wisdom will be torment indeed. Maybe according your compassions, you concerning your cherish, your children of the sentient beings, your parents of the sentient beings, your family of the sentient beings, your lover of the sentient beings. You see them, they are not really free from the sufferings, then you are the really torment indeed. And you like kind of the yourself, you practicing or practice extreme wisdoms is called the transcendent wisdoms. And transcendent wisdom means transcended by these wisdoms from ignorant to no ignorant. And unclearly, from unclearly to clearly state. Where you understand what is the cause of the suffering, what is the cause of happiness, what is right or wrong very clearly, then is you see the other cherished sentient beings, they wish they doing contradict, then it's like your mind is like the mind of your mother. Your mind is like the kindness, like a mind. Then you automatically concerning to the other cherished suffering sentient beings. Then of course you also compassions torment. Maybe you cry by the compassion. Maybe you are tormented by the some sufferings, but this suffering is compassion suffering. It's not contaminated suffering. If you, through these sufferings, maybe you are purified sentient beings' sufferings. Maybe through your compassions, maybe you cried, but your tear is maybe neither medicinal, whoever received. Like Avalokiteshvara, he take Bodhisattva vows from his teacher of the Amitabha. He digged it from depth of the samsara to make empty 3 times. Nobody's left in samsara, but each time is we done, he look back in the samsara, it's become same as the before. And 3rd time is he lost a little bit courage, and according this he lose courage and his commitment kind of a little bit lost, then his head is become the 1,000 piece body like this. And then it's like he say, what can I do now? And his teacher of the Amitabha came to say, fortunate, your generation of the bodhicitta kindness compassion is extraordinary, but sentient beings, each individual, they done negative deeds. Of course you can to temporarily help, but automatically they need to do, they need create positive accumulation, they need to purify their own negative accumulation. And he collect all his head and to put together, and has 10 head, and then is like on the top of theirs he put one his teacher's head, Amitabha, then is 11 head, and all the arms put together, the piece to put together 1,000 arms. Of course all his bodies and he lost commitment, and like kind of whole his body is cracked. The gender of the looks like the woman's or the man's. And then he blessed all that is the eyes. And therefore 1,000 head, 1,000 arm, 1,000 eyes. And of course when this kind of situations, he is like kind of 2 tears coming from his eyes. And samsaric situations like this, what can I do, these sentient beings? And then he took these 2 tears and kind of spread to the space he prayed. And from that is occurred, one is the Tara, one is another ones, one is Tara, other one is I don't know, I don't remember. You can use searching, okay? This is like true is the I think Avalokiteshvara here. Like this, Amen. There's I need to clarify it, okay? And there's 37 Indus. That means it's like a 37, 32, and many people they say it's like before we studied the, I mean it's like a kind of the God realms, and there's a 32 ministry of for the Indus, and himself is a 33, and his elephant. Last time we say it's a 32. Maybe is he's in the main in the but many says like there's this elephant has 33 head. That is I want to correct. And the 37 after this king, you know this in Tibet, I know Sanskrit, what do you say, the king, he is like throughout the full pump of the grain, and then 7 fell into the Buddha's begging bowl, 2 is hit to the Buddha's hat, and once is like this positive result, he's become the ruler of the 4 gatekeepers, and 1 is like he reborn is like same equal position of the Indus, and the someone says like this is like Indus counting of the generation of the king of India, first India, second India, and there until the like 37, he is like kind of the sharing like the half of the Indus position. Like this is like anyway the generation or the process of the Indus king. It is not kind of the number of the families or the people. Okay, last time we make joke, I say it's like 33 added 4 wives, and then 37. This is wrong, and that is. But it's also is like kind of joke. That one. Then other I think is nothing correction. Okay, like this anyway. This also history of the tear, compassion tears. I think is the Avalokiteshvara himself, or one is the Tara, it comes from Avalokiteshvara. Other one is like the Surasot, or which one can you check? Okay, I'm happy give you this information. And also the yesterday there is like the tremendous compassionate. Indeed, there yesterday we talking about the 3 intention. 3 intention. Did you look that in the Nangachunas later? Okay, there's a 3 intention, and first one is the, how do you call the lasso consistency. Okay, I can't say properly. Can you say loudly? Constancy, or constancy, and compulsiveness, and no antidote. And this is like kind of the your disturbed emotions may be very very strong, coding the your disattachment, coding the version, coding the maybe it's like a, how do you say, it's a the ignorant. For example, when we do the negative things, and this coding the 3 things, maybe it's like a consistency, and motivation is means it's like through your desires you want to continue to do it, and you understand this defects of the negative. Maybe it's someone telling to you, but you're coding your disturbed emotions like non-stop doing things, and also coding your aversions same as like this, and also coding your ignorant exactly continue doing like this. That is like the motivator to your disturbed emotions doing like this. Then it's like the permanent like permanent motivation, you can to say. And then second one is the compulsiveness, means it's like when you are doing times you are very happy, you have attachment, clinging to do it, killing, stolen, sexual misconduct is very happy, and like kind of the some we look at the huntings, and when they are shouting to the animals, they are like kind of rolling before they die like very much suffering to make some is like expression, this death pain, and they're like ha ha laughing like this. They love this one, really they love very much. And exactly the same sometimes humans torch to the humans, and humans killing to the humans, exactly like this kind of. And they have like relate to the desire, relate to the ignorance, relate particularly more clingy. This is like the compulsiveness. Antidote means it's like kind of you don't believe any at all. There's no almost sort of positive motivations, only the like kind of the involved like negative things. Then there is no antidote. And like this is three motivations. And maybe it is like kind of positive means it's like maybe you want to do positive things, you understand, you very much strongly, it is like continuously you want to do it. It is like something is like you done something, you recognize like negative, and then it's like afterwards, oh, I like kind of done this one, I regret, I want to confess, and then it's like a vow in the future never do it again. And like this kind of continuation is like this. And also has a little bit kind of the disattachment. And yeah, yes, someone's doing the virtues, you are very happy, and also day and night you something missed, and you a little bit kind of the separate your path, your practice things. It's like you are worried, it is like you lose something, it is like a kind of the someone's love, and then you a little bit separate or something, is there is kind of the problem like this. You're doing path and study, reading and practice, and like follow up your session, these things you miss, is like kind of the missing things you miss very much, like kind of the unhappy, and like this kind of. And of course it's like there's no interruptions. Maybe I would say you're doing the positive things, maybe you understand the 10 positive actions when you're doing, there's nobody's stopped, nobody's interrupt, nobody's cannot to turn. I make a joke before our one student says all the times teaching times and says I'm difficult to understand, and like this. Then I make jokes, isn't it? Maybe it's Buddha's path is very much complicated, and maybe we can to change. Why not? To maybe become Hindu, we can to practice Hindu, Islam, and because no chance. That means it's like, of course, you are struggling in your path, but you have the certainty into your mind. That is the my path is determined. I want to like want to take the 10 positive actions, and that is the my path. That is my relevant path, my destination, my kind of the future task, and definitely nobody cannot stop. Even someone said there's no existent causalities. You can to kill, you can to destroy. Never in your mind is like more stronger than the diamond. And this is really happened in Tibet, like kind of the revolution times, and most like kind of educated dharmas. And then it's communists say you should to give up dharma. They are laughing. Why I need to give up the dharma? Of course, I don't want to practice front of the youth, but never. If they give up dharma, what is my life? Maybe I need to become the criminal. I need to be against you, and what is this? Then some is a communist, very high leader, even in the China. Mo Zedong, he said, if someone need to become good person, I think it's Buddha's the message you studies. He understood it's the Buddha's teachings, the extraordinary. Of course, he says the religious is poisoned, but he respects Buddha's teaching very, very much. It's any perspective he studied, never ever to see something error, it is not truth. Of course, it's like some is a evils, criminal perspective. For example, someone's pleased to stop the killings. They hate it. You know what I say is like, you are maybe superiors, you are the goods. I want to continue to do it. And it's impossible. Even the Buddhist countries, sometimes this kind of person. Other countries, of course. And like this. Then in this perspective, of course, Buddha's teaching, they're not happy. And like 10 positive actions used in it's a religious, ridiculous. Why I need to follow that 100% to say. But anyway, it's like reality. Really, to be honest, to check negative action is really negative, positive 10 actions are positive. And when you have the determined mind, that is like kind of no antidote, means nobody is interrupted to you. And this, and like this kind of, then is the object. We have, there's a 3 principal object, and the qualities object, the qualities object is 3 jewels. And they say it is the teacher is the representative of the like 3 jewels, 3 kaya, 3 so on. This is the quality object. And then it's like the object of the who is help to us. It's a parents. Maybe also like kind of tutor, any kind of who's help to, principally parents. And then is the object of the suffering sentient beings. And these 3 are the object of the our like how it is a connect, which kind of we can to generate bodhicitta. This one is I want to say, but in the Nagarjuna's letters, indeed they will be greatly tormented. They will. And for example, we look at the Shantadeva's prayer says. He never says, may I quickly to attain the Buddhahood. May I become the quickly enlightenment. Never says like, may I become the food for sentient beings. May I become the shelter for sentient beings. May I become the service to the sentient beings. May I reborn again and again hell, hunger, ghosts, animal elements in samsara in order to help to themselves. And like this kind of, they are like such kind of, how to say, compassion way. Therefore, it's like the great torment by the virtues, by the compassions. Of course, when they are torment, it is like kind of the more torment, more purification, more torment, more kind of clearly minded. But our torment, like these sufferings, comes from the disturbed emotions. More torment of the sufferings, and we are more become ignorant, more become confused. Therefore, it's the different. And the bypassed actions that could have bring to suffering in a future's life, but have happened in this life instead. Of course, they are like kind of the according to their compassions. Everything is like bring in the present moment, and like at the same time purified. Like we can take example the asangas. Asanga, he is like kind of the one he generate very strong, irreversible compassion towards the sick dogs, and that moment he collect all the obscurations and the negative things is purified on that moment, and then he hasn't got any more like kind of the experiencing something left from the negative action in the past, what he done something. Everything is purified, and that moment is clean, like a kind of the sky become the free from the clouds, like this. And conversely, there are some people who only do harm, but who experience the fruit of some positive actions right away in action that would otherwise have happened later on. Of course, there are some ones doing all the time negative, but they are looks like happy. Maybe also they bring like sometime together all the like on the past, whatever you done positive things, it's just maturated in the present moment. Looks like happy, but you didn't purify it. Maybe also in on this life doing something negatives. Of course, this like kind of in the future is very difficult to have the experience and the coding the positive result. And also maybe they can also bring futures this how do we say, it's like if you don't kill, and then in the future you can to experience happiness, but you kill, then you stop this experience right now, then it's like in the futures no there's a happy experience. Like this, maybe presently you happy, you doing negative things. Why you happy? Maybe you in the past you done some positive things, and it's like what you doing things is like kind of negative. In the future maybe there's not much experience of the um, how do you say so others like a comfortable experience. And this occurred in the land of the uh, Aparataka. For the 7 days there was a rain of the precious stones, and this is many different the Parataka is the I think in the south coast of the India, and sometimes called the like cotton or something. Is like more in the south coast. Sometimes it says like the Parataka, the different histories, and that was is like near the in Italy. There is one place, and it's like I don't know. They translated. They say it's the Aparantakas. Maybe that is like some archaeologists found it. In Tibetan, is like Nyok Jakap. Nyok Jakap. Nyok Jakap is not really India. It's like the some part of the Indias. And for example, in the near the Italy, there was this kind of happened. Why? For example, even the I think these days some archaeologists found it, and this city and this like kind of what happened there is like first they result of positive things, and the seventh day is raining the precious. They become very rich, and then for 7 days a raining of the cloth, and for 7 days is the raining of the grain, like a kind of cloth, food, everything is like very rich. And like kind of 1 month is they are become the extreme like this. And also it's like they said there was a very beautiful country, beautiful cities, and then certainly of course it's negative result, and there was the raining of the earth. Everyone was crushed to death and took rebirth in the hells. And of course that means it's like a direct the how to say ripen first maybe positive just 2-3 weeks, and then certainly they maybe it's like this is showing it's a kind of example and result. There's not much positive result, then it's a positive result exhaustus, and then negative rainy earth, everything is under the earth. They died, they went to in the hell. This but this one is like maybe it's you're in the histories, have you seen this film? There was one country at like a and there is a small young lady. She has like kind of paranoia, and she all the time thinking there's big volcanoes coming, and then it's like she's telling them, but nobody's like kind of the belief. And then it's finally they came, then the volcanoes to collapse to everything. Maybe like this kind of, maybe not raining, but maybe some volcano came to ever. These days, sometimes they say this you can to find big city under the ground. But anyway, in Tibet you call the Nyok Jakobs. Jakob is like country. Nyo is like they translated this India. I'm not sure. In the end, there was like Earth. Everybody is like this happened. Such a situation in which this how do good suffering and those who do harm uh, prosper always occur as the result of the action done in the past. Maybe it's like we need to more analyze in our life. And yesterday there is also someone's questions occur. I'm all the time doing good things, but I am suffering. Then it's a good thing means that means okay, I understand to say someone's practice, recite the mantra, maybe follow the mundros and doing something, but more sick, more problems coming here. And of course, it's like the expectation, even though you recite 100 times the money, then after become the healthy, be enlightenment. Someone so much expectation like this. But anyway, maybe also someone's whole life, and maybe they are doing the positive actions. Maybe it's the but all the time sick and the problems is like this kind of. And also it's when we look at the someone's all the time is doing negative things. It is really is like a very evil person doing things there, but looks like all the time is happy and joyful, and this is like this. And of course, these both are the result on the past life. But then is we understood maybe it's like someone's practicing 10 positive actions. Maybe it's like a lot of problem suffering. Maybe this person's like kind of the purified. Maybe someone says in this our human lives, if you a little bit sufferings, it's like kind of the purification as such, and like kind of very strong. And also it's like in the human suffering is compared the animals sufferings is a human suffering is like more profound, more purification. Say maybe it's like compared maybe we can to say human is like a little bit maybe 1 hour's sufferings, maybe animals hunger gauss hell realms like a kind of the maybe 100 years sufferings, maybe it's like almost a similarity. Why? Because human beings is very important, and also it's like very much we have like kind of everything is something is very important. In this perspective, we are a little bit sufferings is quite a big kind of things compared to other sentiments. It's the same way if we do some positive things, maybe also very strong, very powerful, it can purify it a lot. Like this, maybe when we obtain the human existence, we meet Buddha and also practice Dharma doing all this time of positive actions, and then it's like sometimes problems occurs, maybe it's good because it's like in the future is maybe it's nothing said. Maybe it's like there is one in the hospital, and these hospitals they want to give injection people, particularly these areas, not this our current pandemic, but other pandemic kind of. If you receive these injections, and then it's like after you are not sick, but when you receive these injections, vaccines, so pain, awful, and like this, and then there's one guy, and the doctors bring the needle. It's coming. First time he says, "Okay, prepare," and second time, and then the doctor says, "You are a little bit pain, but then in the futures you don't need to worry this pandemic." Now coming, impossible. It's almost touch the needles. He's run away, and like this, it's of course in the presently sometimes like a pain, and this vaccine is coming into the. It's also really to receive a few days uncomfortable. It's like very pain, but future you don't need to suffering by the any like the various. Like maybe we wish to find quickly this, how do you say, vaccine for our present. And like this, maybe it's like we are taking the great medicinal vaccine of the Dharma to maybe take in this life. Of course, a little bit pain, a little bit problem, but then is in the future, next lives, never ever sick by any negative actions, affections. That is the wonderful. Like this, we need to how do you say is to check them. Sometimes this kind of happened, then we have lost courage. Like also the yesterday recordings. Oh, I made maybe 3 years retreat. I recited the mantras, and all the time as I'm generating bodhicitta, doing positive things. I have problems, this and that. What happened? I said, of course, maybe it's in the past, which kind of we are. Maybe very, very evil person in the past. We did something, many bad things. Then certainly some small positive things. We obtained a human existence, and on top of this human existence, then is maybe some positive things. We are doer of the positive, and then we very strong doing positive things. Then digging out our negative karmic effect right present. Maybe it's a good. Maybe in the future, like kind of the sun is coming from the clouds, like slowly disappeared the cloud of the sufferings. And like this, sometimes it's like this kind of situation. We are like kind of upside down. Look, there is some in the human beings. They all the time doing negative things, cheating, and like kind of the manipulating and killing, murder, and all the time doing negative things. They are all the times looks like okay, no sick, no problem, escaped ever. Then what is like this? But is the causality is inevitable, and this person is maybe looks like the but 100% the future, maybe the end of the life, maybe is in the future life. There is the kind of the result. Karmic effect, causality is absolutely inevitable. This we need to ourselves to analyze them. Sometimes when we look at the externally, and the appearances are the unbelievable things. And yesterday the questions to say, I'm doing my best, but all the time I'm problems. Why? That means you need to give up the positive things. And then it's like someone say, I'm doing all the time with negative things, but I'm okay. Okay, then everybody needs to do the negative things. No, this something is like a kind of the causalities. This happened, and this we need to know about to study. If we study causalities, then we understood. Well, like kind of, and your present actions, good or bad, will have the effects in your next life or in those to follows it. And this is like whatever it's per current your situation, it's like not kind of situation, your actions. This action is the preparation action of the in the futures, and is this present your actions making the cause, making something result in the futures. For this reason, it is vital to develop a firm convictions about the inevitable effect of your precious action, and always to believe accordingly. And you, of course, is the present your action is good or bad. This is like kind of maturation in the futures your life, absolutely in the next steps. And next step means it's tomorrow, and next week, next month, next year, next life. It's become the good or bad, totally that depends in the present your action. And in this perspective and reasons, vital to develop the firm convictions. All the time is vital point to develop the positive things. As much as I often say, your positive is your food, your favorite kind of cake, and Nita cake is delicious. It's make it healthy. It is organic. All the time you need to miss. Each moment you need to eat positive things. It's really like a kind of the between the you're like a lunch. How do you say it's like each moment whenever you like kind of the you doing times, even you driving, even you are drinking tea, even you are like any kind of space time is no space but like we normally we have the four activities: eating, working, sitting, kind of sleeping time. All the time is to remind the virtual things. Virtual things is sometimes we don't need to preparation to cook, collect many different like kind of the stuff, and like generally even we need to make the coffee is how much is complicated. In order to do the virtual things, it's very easy, very quickly, immediately we can do it. Generate bodhicitta, recite the mantras, and something is like particularly in your mind is to change, to generate. I don't want to kill, I don't want to steal, I don't want to sexual misconduct, I don't want to do the 10 negative action, I want to do benefit for sentient beings. Best mantra, best virtue, best kind of the you doing this. This sort of each moment we can to remind us. Each moment you can to recite the mantras, prayers like this. Determinedly, that are conviction about the inevitable effects. So of course, each moment concerning the inevitable of the causalities, and your actions inevitable effect in the future your situations. Action and always believe accordingly, behave according to the causalities, accordingly cause of the causalities, like this. Do not use the Dharma language of the highest view to scorn the principle of cause and effect. Of course, sometimes it says like this is like a kind of the Buddhist university, some students, high kind of the educated Dharma. Sometimes maybe it's like kind of they studied the emptiness. Or maybe it's like say I studied Madhyamika, I studied Mahamudra, I studied the great perfections. My views are so high, I realized that the emptiness. Then you are like kind of the scorn and make the insult of the causalities. Oh, don't worry, for my views perspective, there's no existence of the positive and negative. Then you do funny things, and that is incorrect. You are like scorn the principle of the cause and effect. That is never ever good. Therefore, here is the great master of the Orgyen, Guru Rinpoche, Pema Sambhava. He said, the great king to the Toson Dessen. In this secret mantrayanus of the mind, the view is the most important thing. Of course, it is like kind of the advice to Konzon Chujas, and says the entrance door of the Dharma is the renunciation, determined mind. The head of, and that's the principal body of the Dharma, it is the compassions. The leg of the Dharma is the views. In order to you need to reach in the place of the citadel of the enlightenment. Therefore, it is the view is the most important, and then like beginning when we are studying, establishing the view and the meaning of the reality, nature of the phenomena the phenomenous nature, how it is, that we need to have clearly into our mind. And that is very important. First, we study the view. Second, we need to experience the view. And thirdly, we need to meditate on the view. And fourthly, we can to say is like you need to manifest your view. And like this, view is wrong, maybe meditation's wrong. Meditation's view is wrong, result is wrong. Therefore, is the view is most important. But here it says the view is very important. However, do not, however, yes, like this view, but do not let your action slip into the direction of the views. Your actions cannot slip into the like same as the view. Your action all the time according the like causalities. That is the most very important. And then if it does, you will fall into the evil view of the demons. Then it's like kind of the nihilistic way, and you are completely nihilistic view of the evil. You don't believe the causalities, and that is the view of the demon. And it's like kind of the demon's view permeated for your body, speech, mind, and then you doing all the times evil things. Therefore, that is the very important. Practicing the about the how goodness is empty, evil is empty. Then you can to say like this: if your like action is slipped into the towards the view, and you say it's like there's no need to important to taking care your action, and only the view, maybe your view is a very much nihilistic way, is like a demon's view, evil's view, and then you are practicing to say the good is emptiness and the evil is emptiness. There is no result, and this is happened in Tibet. There's one like kind of university, a Buddhist university. He studied a lot of like kind of dharma, and then he's like a wrong understanding. He become lay person. He's killing one sheep. He's telling to the sheep, I'm not existence, I'm emptiness. You sheep, emptiness, no existence. What I'm using weapon is not existence, emptiness, no problem. It's killing. And this kind of, in the modern times, a lot, even in Tibet, there's they like the kind of, they criticize the superiors, they scorn to the inferiors, they have such jealousy in the same levers, and they only concern themselves. It's like kind of, oh, I am a democratic way, I want to criticize like this. Any kind of the holy beings, even the Buddhas, Guru Rinpoche, this the second Buddha was the Pema Sambhava, and they say it's like they are not truth. They telling the causalities is not truth. Do not need to follow it. Absolutely modern like coming this you want to follow or you don't want to follow. If you want to follow, you can to follow free. And that is a very important. You need to maintain yourself. If someone says, oh, no existence, the causalities, negative, positive, is empty, nothing. And then if you say like someone says nothing, there's no problem, sit there, I will pick up one stick, hit to your head. And they say, no, you can't. Okay, this is the causality, existence. You need to say that. And like this, causality is like actions, and causality is inevitable. Maybe like this. This happened, Guru Rinpoche is telling to the Toson Desan. But do not let your view slip in the direction of the action either, of course. And your view is like kind of the same as become the like in the relative way, and the how do you say is actions way, maybe eternalism is a become, and something is too much existence is like this, then it's like you lost the view, you like kind of the way of the eternalism. Are you well, says, or you will be caught in the materialism and ideology. Ideology means that is very much kind of the dualistic kind of the person's materialism, because that kind of the existence, it is like, for example, we can to say these things. Someone says like, okay, this like whatever we perceive, these things is we can to see, we can to hear, we can to touch. These things, how you can to see emptiness. This emptiness is you kind of the scorn or you criticize. This to say the emptiness, very scary things. Never ever follow the view of the emptiness is not good, because look, everything is existence. And then it's like you are like kind of lost, more like kind of the materialism. Ideology means like conceptual, like kind of the ideas, ideologies. And then it's like you never ever to reach in the liberation stage, and liberation will never comes. Then it's therefore it's Guru Rinpoche said, that is why my view is higher than the sky. View is really your views according to the Madhyamika, according to the Mahamudra, according to the great perfections. In your mind is perceived this all the phenomena, non-substantially existence, and you perceive these phenomena as the eight illusory examples, like mirage, rainbow, dreams, magic illusions, and this you have. But your action is like according exactly the same as these perceptions. Then is the synchronized, correspond is fantastic. But my attention to my action and their effect is the fanner than the flowers. That means it's like a kind of the, any kind of the causalities they are taking care. Great masters also. For example, I make the joke, holiness. He's pulsating. He's doing the mundro. He's meditating in the morning, half an hour. It's there. He's acting like according to showing to others. Maybe according to his vow, how to say views, according to his realizations. He don't need to do it 100%. But it's like someone to see a holiness needs to do. Of course, I need to do so. And like this, also it's like his early morning to get up, he's precipitating, and he has the mandala, he's offering to do like this, he's offering himself. It's incredible. Of course, holiness, can you do it? Even though sometimes I have like everyday 3 battle lamp try to offering. Also that one is like sometimes be laziness. 3 candles difficult to burn on it, okay? Fire on. The other things, holiness, like kind of the himself to prostrating, and also it's like to do the mandalas, and also to offerings. You know, I think this history, there's one, the practitioners, he every day doing the tasa, and he working with the earth, and then it's a hand, his clothes everywhere is earth, the like kind of the claim. And then it's like some his student attendants come, you are the great masters, look, you are looks like normal workers, what are you doing? Maybe let's do so. And he looked the attendants or the students, you want to take away my food. Exactly like this. This is like kind of the this. Even the some great masters, great realizations, also how much they're doing very small things. Incredible. When I was like in my monastery, in the Dzogchen monastery, probably you heard Lama Kadis, the inconceivable great practitioners. But at smallest things, like there's negative, positives, he's taking care. And of course, his view is like same as the sky, because therefore it's like kind of the become the rainbow or something extraordinary happened, like this. And therefore Guru Rinpoche say like this. And whoever received this Masha, we done this one is next. There's 2 sentences. There's we have problems. Okay, this true line we don't need to repeat it again. And also this missing Tibetan, and how do you say Masha? You this missed, okay? And the downstairs next page, this Tibetan is a translation, is goes like this, okay? But the Tibetans like 2 times Guru Rinpoche's quotation, this green one. But it's the green one. So how fully you have realized it in your view the nature of the reality. It is not quotation. You must pay minute intention to your action and their effects. And that is like as much as you like realize it, the nature of the realities, and then there is like automatically it is like you concerning the cause and affections and effect. And therefore if you kind of do not caring about the causalities, that means you do not realize the view the nature of the realities. And your view, or it is like kind of the realization is like more close to the nature of the realities, then your actions more like kind of the fine and more like kind of the careful, and it's like more caring of the action and the effect. That is these translations like this. And then it's like someone is asked Patamba Sonji, once we have realized the emptiness, the nature of the realities, does it still harm us to commit negative acts? And maybe it's like a kind of course, maybe not. If you completely realize that the nature of the realities, and then it's like you do negative things or positive things, it's hurting to you or harming to the others. And it's not like this. If you say it's hurting things, then why is a telos killing the fish? Maybe you can to say like this. But that is like it's extraordinary. It is like Patamba Sonji says, like hurting or not, wonderful thing. How do you say? Reply. Once you realize the emptiness, Patamba says, replied, it would be absurd, absurd to do anything negative things. Absurd is an impossible, and like no necessary. This is nonsense. If you realize that the nature of the reality, that means there's no chance to do the negative things. For example, it's like when we are generated the bodhicitta compassion, mind is like involved compassions, then it's like body speeches cannot do the negative things. And therefore its mind is very important, working with the compassion. Then other thing, there's no chance to do the negative things. It's exactly the same as replied the Patamba Sonji say. If someone's realized the really true nature of the realities, they never kind of the doing it, but also it's never hurting. They never harm themselves, they never harm to the others. And then it's like in this realization perspective, maybe it's like the both negative action, positive action, both is like maybe it's the positive and according, and nothing affect to their own minds. And but of course, and these persons never is doing the negative. When you realize that emptiness, compassion arise with it simultaneously. And in the Nangachuna, or it's like Shantagati's books in the commentary says, really if you want to analyze how much you realize that the nature of the emptiness, and you check your compassions, is the compassions more and more strong, that means you realize that the nature of realities. If your compassions developed or not, if your compassions developed, then you naturally understand the the view of the emptiness. They are all the time synchronized, or they all the times corresponding together each other very much. Okay, we need to stop. Half an hour